Well, I don't know about you, but wrench organizing has been one of the things that's frustrated me the most, whether I'm talking about in a standard toolbox or one of these rolling tool carts. And Easy Red a couple weeks ago sent me this magnetic tool organizer, and so many people commented about it. I thought I'd look and see what else is out there and see what's the best one. So we're going to test them out. All of these are magnetic to one level or another, and we're going to see how well they hold stuff in place, whether they can be used vertically or just horizontally, and maybe what's the best option for you. All right, well, we have several choices here. This is one by Swan Lake. Swan Lake is one of these generic Amazon companies we've seen around. They've been around for a year or so now, making some decent budget-minded kind of tools. That's more of a standard V-shaped wrench organizer with a full magnet on the back. It sticks very well, but it doesn't help hold the wrenches in place at all. So if you do close this, let me unlock this here. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And you saw this one, it decided it was going to come loose too. So let's try that again. That one's so heavy, it comes loose. So that's not going to hold anything. This is from Toolbox Widget. Now, I bought the rest of these myself, and that's kind of the standard, the gold standard, if you would. Veteran-owned company, they've designed it themselves. It's modular, you can take pieces off. We're going to show you more about that. This is a generic Amazon, no-name, white box kind of company. Kind of similar to some of the other ones you'll see out there. Of course, we got the Easy Red, which is different in all of these in that it's all stuck together and it's all very flexible here. And we're going to show these some more. So anyway, in the first test, which is catching a closing lid, clearly the Easy Red is the only one that's going to do it. And honestly, of all these, this is really the one that's meant for this sort of thing. The rest of these, this doesn't have a magnetic mount inside of it. So, I mean, you can put them in there, it sticks, but they're just gonna fall right out. The same with this generic one over here. But let's try them down here in the base in a shaky moving kind of situation. All right, I have my official cart shaker here, ready to, what are we gonna do? Seismic, we're thinking like a 3 or a 4, maybe a 5. Anyway, this is the generic holders here, non-magnetic, just to get us started, see what they can do. We're holding a set of Capri metric wrenches. Let's go for it. Come on, shake it like you mean it. Harder. Back and forth. Well, I gotta say, I'm surprised. I thought it would be worse. And they stay pretty much in place. Now, if you touch them by hand, they slide in and out, but I gotta say, I was impressed. I thought they'd go all over the place, but let's go on to some of the magnetic ones. All right, next, let's go with the Swan Lake. As far as taking it off, it comes off fairly easy. It's a big magnet on the back. It's got the slots there so you can hang it on a peg or on a wall or something like that. No carry handle on it. No real retention though in the slots. So let's get this set up and see how it does. All right, the Swan Lake. I'll be honest, it doesn't have much stick going through the rubber mat on the cart, but let's give it a shake. Let's go full bore on it this time. All right, well, it moves around. It doesn't have any retention, but not terrible. All right, this is the one by, I kid you not, CD is the name of it. And because it's so long, it won't actually fit full length going in the cart this way. I guess I could put it sideways. So we're going to do what we can with it. And also because it's got such a high center of gravity, it's going to rock. So let's go for it. All right, well, nothing went anywhere. Can we pick it up with everything on it? Well, it'll carry it, but it ain't jostle to it. Well, there needs to be a lip retention at the bottom to help keep these things in. Otherwise, it would be kind of decent, but the size of it, the rail construction, it's just, I think they had an interesting idea. I just don't think it works. All right, next up we got Toolbox Widget. Now, I'll say with Toolbox Widget, I mean, it's nice that you take them out, you have the little orange marker kind of glares out to you, let you know that you're missing one of your tools. They do stick fairly good to the magnet, or at least has enough power to go through the mat to what's underneath. But let's see how it handles the quaking. Well, that's pretty pretty good. A little bit of slide. They don't actually have much. There's the magnet really just goes through to the bottom. There's not much retention for the wrench itself, if any. They do. You can get little inserts that go in here so you can label them, or you can 3D print them or something. They're interesting, but let's see. We got 2 more to go. Let's see how these do. All right, these are the generics. They do have a little bit of grab through the mat, not a ton. We're going to see how they hold up. Let the quaking commence. Not too bad. Again, no side-to-side retention. Easy to grab out of. You don't get quite as many as you do with some of the other ones. But, I mean, not bad for being a generic. All right, now we got the Easy Red. They are ready to go. I do like it. It lays them out more in a way that keeps them more facing up, easier to see what you're grabbing. Let's go ahead and send it. Can you shake it harder? All right, well, these are definitely the ones that are clearly made to be picked up. And you can see here, now let's give it the bounce test. Good, I got one to come out. Slap it up there. They go in, when I first saw them, I thought they would be hard to grab because of the lower retention. Like, so I want to grab this one out of the middle. You just kind of give it a little lift up on it. When you put it in, you just put it right in the middle and push down. They're not the fastest. They're not as fast as something as, say, as the toolbox widget or something like that. But they're clearly one that's meant for true vertical retention. Now, a lot of these do show themselves as being used for vertical retention. This brand is definitely shown for vertical retention, and the Swan Lake. But honestly, the Swan Lake, if you move the cart at all, they're falling off. It's not going to stay. The CD, it's just too much. The whole thing will pivot. If there was just a little lip on the bottom of this, it would work so much better. Trying to space them on the rail is kind of a pain. I know what my feeling is, but they're the ones that did send this to me. Everyone else I bought myself. But let's take a look at the numbers and see what you all think. Well, that's it for our scientific testing method. Just trying to see what really fits and what works. Let's go through how much these cost, what you get for each one. We're going to start off, first of all, with this, the basic non-magnetized. Now, we'll say this. If you look on these, if I get the light right, there are holes here. You could probably find magnets and buy them in bulk. You can buy magnets on Amazon, bags of them. Little neodymium stuff, and you can put them in there. You can figure something out. But honestly, I was stunned because I was ready to hate on these. And I mean, if you're maybe not in a cart so much, but if you're just in a tool drawer or something, that's not a bad idea. And I'll be honest, you get a bunch of these for the price. Let me pull it up here. So this is the Mats Cover 40-piece modular wrench organizer coming in at $19.98. So just sub $20. You get 40 pieces. We round 2 cents. That comes out to, I think it's 50 cents a piece if I'm doing my math right on that, and maybe I am. I don't know. The point is that this is probably one of the cheapest ones you're going to see here at 50 cents per module. And it's also, it's completely modular. You can take each individual piece off. You can adjust it. You can do them, as many as you want at a time. They just slot into the one next to it. They just sit in there. The wrench sits in there. There is a spot where you could kind of do a label on this, but I don't know if you'd really do that. Maybe get one of those. Nah, I don't even think that would work. Maybe across the tabs, you could put get one of those silver paint Sharpies and write stuff in if you got really good handwriting. But that said, they come in black, blue, and red, so you could do color for, metric and SAE. That's an option there. And at $20, again, I wanted to hate on them. They're not magnetized at all, so they're not going to hold the wrench. You're not going to hang them or anything like that. But for general use, I was surprised by them. Now let's talk about the next one. These were the generic magnetized style. I've seen some other ones from some name brands that look very, very similar to these. And honestly, they got a nice little tab on them, so you can you can write something on them. You're only getting 12 pieces though. Now this comes in then at the sale price here of $7.99. That comes in at 67 cents a count. So not much more than the non-magnetized ones. Now, they didn't have a ton of grip if you're going to use the rubber mat. And if you're going to take the rubber mat out, they'll probably stick a lot better. But honestly, I wasn't super impressed by them. I think I'd rather go with the non-magnetized versions, save a few bucks, get a whole bunch of them. I do like the little tab on it. I guess it kind of reminds me of like those old manila folders. You could, if only you could alternate the tab back and forth. I don't think you can. But $8, you get the least amount for 12 of them. Yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't excited about this one. But you let me know. If I'm missing out on this one, is there an aspect of this that I'm not getting? Let me know down in the comments. So next up, we're going to talk about the toolbox widget. Now, I've heard a lot about these things. In fact, they may have started this whole concept for these modular designs because they do, if I can get them apart, they come apart into individual little segments there. And there's a decent magnet on the bottom of it. And they have this color strip. I can get the light to catch it. There's a color strip there we go, inside it. But as you can see, it's not the easiest thing to see. And they say it's there so you can instantly tell if you have a piece missing. Now, you guys who've seen EVA foam, usually you'll do EVA foam in 2 different colors so that the inside color will be a bright, color, like grab you, like, hey, this wrench is missing kind of thing. This does, that doesn't feel like it to me. I get where they're going with it. I don't think it really lands. The fact you can get labels for them, but look how tiny the little area is where the label would go. That's my old eyes. I'll have to get my glasses out to read that. That's just not going to be happening. And here's the part about this. I want to like it because they're veteran owned, and I always try to support veteran companies, but oh my gosh, $25 for a 12 piece of these. Again, you're not getting a ton of them. You're getting 12 pieces. And if it was made in the US, I'd be willing to swallow it and be like, hey, for $25, veteran owned, made in the US, I get it. They're not. They're made in India. And I get why. I'm not trying to knock them, but you can't really, that price looks like a made in the USA price to me compared to everything else. Made in India, this should be a good bit cheaper, I feel. They do the job, but I can even feel like the magnet or something wiggling around inside on this thing. They feel like they're decent quality. I could be nitpicking on this, but the price just really makes me kind of, they're not the most expensive. We're going to get there. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what's coming up next. Now, this is probably the cheapest per unit, okay? Because you don't just get one of these. You get, sorry, I'm reaching back here. You get 4 of them, all right? 4 of these for the price. So, and you get a green, you don't get a choice. You get a green, a red, a blue, and a black one. And they all have the magnet on the back. But again, there's just no retention here. This is like the old school, like the ones that would come free. In fact, the ones that come free when you buy a wrench set, I think have better retention than these. And they're magnetized, meant to be hung on something. And if it moves at all, if you walk by it and give it a stern look, the wrench is going to fall off. It doesn't feel like it's there. And I'm sorry, it's the first thing I've gotten from Swan Lake. I had hopes for it. It's not badly made. It's just not completely thought out. It feels like they kind of just went, let's do this. It's good enough. And it's $16 for 64 slots. That's a lot of storage, but you're paying for that magnet. That's what you want. And mounting these vertically, unless you've got like a sheet metal wall you can hang these on where no one's going to walk by it and knock stuff off, I don't really see them being all that useful. Maybe you do, but they show it here on a toolbox, and I just feel like just even shutting the doors, you shut the doors too hard, and you're going to have wrenches hitting the floor. All right, and then next up, we've got the CD. Oh my gosh, this thing was I thought it was going to be closer to the Easy Red when I purchased it, but look at the price on it. Normally $18, on sale right now for $14.19, and there's a 10% off coupon. It's just, let me go full screen here. I wanted to like it, but when it came, it's so top heavy because of this rail system they use. And it's clearly designed to be, clamped on like a toolbox or something. And it's kind of hard to move them. If you have to get your thumb underneath it, you can kind of move it. They jump around, but there's not much movement for the whole thing. It feels like somebody had an idea And then they just said, that's good enough. Because the whole thing with the no ridges on the side, now if it's laying flat, sure, but you're not buying a magnet like this style to hang it flat. Maybe even if you did it like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's there. It's a good price, and maybe it works for you, but it didn't feel like it really hit all the numbers there. So that leaves then the Easy Red. Now, Easy Red, full disclosure, they sent this to me. Okay, let me go back here. We'll talk about the price. It's the most expensive by far. $35.79. You can get it in green for $40. Don't ask me why the green one costs more. That's just Amazon pricing. That's the way that kind of stuff works. 12 slots. Again, you're not getting a ton, but the retention, this is definitely the one that's designed to be picked up and moved around. I can pick up that whole rack and carry it with me. I mean, if I do bump it, there's stuff, it's not locked in place, but they got the nice little, grooves on it there. You can see it from the side. It's going to grab and hold. Now, the plastic quality on this actually feels pretty decent. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels good in the hand. It bends and flexes. A lot of the stuff that they make as far as the organizers are very of the flexy nature. Like you can get it. They showed one of the ones they have it like they've clamped it on an axle or something. And I'm like, no one's, or drive shaft. I think it was drive shaft. No one, okay, maybe someone will, but I think that's unlikely. But it's got good sized magnets. It's really grippy. All right, you can hang on a flat surface, vertical surface. It can grip through the rubber mat. It's going to stay in place. The little fingers there are going to hold the wrenches. It holds the wrenches at an angle so I can actually look down and see what wrench is what wrench is wrench. Yeah, anyway, I like them. And I got to say, I was kind of hard on them. They sent me a bunch of stuff. And the first thing I got when I opened the box was these lights. They also make these. Now, we're going to go through some of the other stuff they make as far as the organizers. And I saw the lights, and look, it's not, I mean, this is not very, look, it's choking me. All right, it's going to cut off my carotid arteries here like a sleeper hold. Yeah, you can, I think there's a button here. You can turn it on. There you go. I won't blind you. Look down. I don't like lights down there. I would much rather take one of my O lights and clip it to a headlamp kind of set up. And that way, wherever I look, it's going. Where this, I got to turn my neck. I got to basically turn my body. It was a stupid bias kind of call. They're decent quality. They've got great reviews, but and I think they're like $45. We'll see. Maybe I got a link in here. But let's talk about the other stuff they make because they make some neat stuff, and I think people might have been sleeping on them. They're not the cheapest, okay, but they are an interesting solution. Now let's pull this up. So you got the 12 slot there for $35.79. We've got the 4 slot there for was it $24.99. Then we have the pry bar holder. Well, that's kind of cool for $34.99. The single pry bar holder there for $16. The paint can ones, we had that in Deals of the Week the other day. It's currently $23. We got the magnetic bit holder. That's kind of cool for $20. The price on it, though, is a bit extreme. This nice little storage accessory pouch, kind of magnetic accessory pouch. It just clips right onto your toolbox, or doesn't clip, it's magnetic. I like the idea. It's just going to collect junk. All right. But that said, it's $21. They've got this thing, the wrench holder here. It holds 6 pairs of pliers, pliers holder, I should say. $25 on that. They've got this thing that looks pretty cool. We showed this in Deals of the Week the other day. The magnetic ratchet holder with 2 of the bumpers down here. So you can move those around and do whatever you want. Holds 4 ratchets. That's on sale right now for $37.90. Then we've got, this one really caught my attention here. The Easy Red magnetic tool holder. So it can hold a power tool. I want to get my paws on that and see exactly how strong is it. Can it hold one of the bigger, like one of the big flex tools or something like that? Because if it's like the other magnets, it's pretty strong. Then we got the magnetic socket holder here. This is going to hold your 1/2 inch. And, as they show it, they're always flexible, so you can sit them all sorts of places over fenders and stuff like that. There they've got it on the lift. That one's $35. Then they got the 3/4 one. Here we go. There you go on an axle. Not axle. I keep calling it an axle, drive shaft. And of course, it's photoshopped on there. Let's see if the other one's photoshopped. It's a good Photoshop, but it's still a Photoshop. I hate when companies do that, low profile design. But I say the build quality on these things are pretty good. This is just your regular magnetic flexible mat. I guess you throw it on a water heater, keep your screwdrivers and stuff there for when you need them. They've got this standard pop-up tool organizers, the little catch boxes. Your typical, it's a magnetic rail on a magnet. I guess it's got the plastic behind it so it won't scuff. Here's the ones. So this is the cheaper version. They've got the NK10s for $22.90, and then they've got the NK15s for $43.93. All right. Anyway, that's everything. My knocking everything over because it's magnetic. I set it on something metal. So yeah, I liked them. But again, if you're just going to use it in a basic toolbox, I don't know where I put them. I would just get the generic ones. The generic non-magnet, you get 40 for $20. If you need something in a cart, you need something to really hold on, you're going to carry it around, you're going to carry it on the side. This is definitely the grippiest one that's going to hold on the best. But I don't know, what do you think? Do you think I missed out on some that I should have considered? Maybe if I get enough other options that people suggest, we'll do a round two. Let me know down in the comments. While you're down there, don't forget to chomp the old like button, smash that subscribe on the way out. You all take care, God bless, and as always, shine on.